All right, let's move on. Let's move on with the emails. I got Jason. Thank you, bro. What's up, Jason? Nothing about money, investment, popcorn, none of that. Just wanted to drop an email to let you know that me and Crystal have got you in our thoughts. Thank you. You're two amazing people. Trust me, I know that. We hope your recovery is getting easier every day. It is. I'm happy to report. Compared to what I've been through, holy fuck. And you know that if praying for you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You do, Lou. We love you, man. Remember, try to smile and laugh once a day. Jason and Crystal. Listen, I'll tell you a funny story. I actually, in the middle of all this pain, like sometimes you have like all this nonsense and you have like a funny thought and you go back in time. I was actually thinking about the time where, I'll tell you a funny, fast story. It was actually a Sunday, um, many moons ago when I was a kid. My father, Frank, and the guys, they were sweetheart guys, but they were pretty, they were those rough type, blue collar, veteran crowd, whatever. So one day I remember I came home and my mom was like, listen, it's late at night. Your father's still outside with it, the guys, whatever. Go get your father. So I'm like, all right, no problem. So I go to this one place. It's on 106th Street. This is around the block from where the guys. Remember, you guys remember uh, my teacher Robbie? They kidnapped Black Alicious and they were gonna have like a wild sex party with him. It was around the corner from that. There was like a bar social area downstairs in the building. It was like really nefarious down there. Like it was only the rough types who go down. They got pool tables and stuff like that. Well, anyway, so I go down there. I'm like, must have been like 13 years old or something like that. This is like Carlitos way type shit. So I'm there. All of a sudden, I see my father. I see Frank, a couple of the other guys. I'm like, what's up, Pop? Listen. Mom says, andale, you got to get home already. And he said, what are you doing here? I'm like, I told you, Mom came to tell me to get time for you to go. So all of a sudden, he's like, look, we're going to take care of some stuff here. Okay, you can't be here. So Frank turns around and he tells my father, he's here. Don't worry about it. He'll be okay. It's okay. And I'm like, what the fuck are people talking about? Like, no joke. Private jet. No joke. My father and the guys were there, and there was like some like pro-Castro Cubans that were there, and obviously they got into some words back and forth, and it was about to go down. Like it was gonna be like that scene from The Bronx Tale, when the bar fight happened. It was like that, and I just happened to be there. So my father, being my father, hand to Jesus himself, his two sons, there's no, I'm allergic to gluten. That shit don't exist. My father just told me, decide which one you're gonna fight, and that's it. Like it was like, wait, mom just told me to pick you up. Didn't happen that way. It went to war in that place. It was like wild. Like I remember one guy got thrown over the pool table. I mean, I went to work. I mean, I was already like, by that time, I was already like 2.5 years in judo / karate. I was in boxing. I went to work on this one guy, and it was just like, because this guy, like for some reason, with thick glasses, he really wanted to kill me. I don't know why. I didn't even know him. Might have been a nice guy on another day, but crazy fight broke out. It was a vicious whatever. But you're in a basement at night, and so they're playing Tito Puente and stuff like that. So it's like at the end of the day, somebody's gonna get messed up. So didn't think nothing of it. After the brawl happened, the pro Castro yada yada Cubans, they got mauled. A couple of people got hit with cue balls and shit like that. I didn't think anything of it. We went upstairs and Frank was like, "You want to get breakfast?" Yeah, so I'm with my father. We just finished getting into a bar fight. So I'm like 13 years old. I mean, it was just bizarro. But anyway, fast forward years later, okay? In New York, I'm older. Must have been like 17, 18 years old around there. And I'm dating this one girl, and she's like, it was her sister's birthday, and she's like, you know what I want to get her? I'm like, no. And she's like, those cakes that are advertised all the time, those ice cream cakes, Fudgy the Whale. It was like this ice cream Carvel cake, and there was a Carvel that just opened up in the neighborhood. So I was like, all right, no problem. We can get that for her. So she's like, oh, if you can pick that up, that'll be so great. I'm like I'm gonna say no, going to get some ice cream. So anyway, so I go to this Carvel. I've never been in it before. It's a new Carvel. So I walk into this place, and when I walk into this place, like this is like a different type of Carvel. Some other Carvels, they got like, I don't know, ice cream music. I walked into this Carvel and they had a couple of like all I can tell you is like Carlitos Way type motherfuckers sitting inside, and they're playing like Mira como va, mijita. It was like a dun 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 dun. I was like, okay, no problem. It's just jamming time. I'm just here to pick up some ice cream. So I go to the front counter, and there's like this older guy there with thick glasses. And I'm like, yo, where do you get the Fudgy the Whale? And he looks at me with a solid face, and he goes, just like that. So I'm like, all right, you helpful motherfucker. So I go to the back, and I'm looking at the Fudgy Whales. I'm looking at a couple of ice cream cakes, a couple of those, like, what they call the flying saucer, like the vanilla and chocolate with the chocolate, whatever. I'm gonna grab a bunch of this stuff, all this goodness. All of a sudden, I start hearing the music getting louder. Loud. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what the fuck? It sounds like a club. And then I look to the side. For 2 seconds, I took my eye off of Fudgy the Whale. And I see these motherfuckers are by the door, closing the door and having a conversation and pointing at me. So I know something's going to go down, but I don't know what it is. Maybe they're going to tell me that, I can't buy Fudgy the Whale or something, but whatever. I was walking out of there with some ice cream. And all of a sudden, these 3 motherfuckers come out to the back and they're like, yo, you're going to pay for what you did. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't done it. I haven't taken a Fudgy out. I haven't taken nothing out of the freezer yet. And sure enough, one of the guys swung. It turned into a brawl. It turned into a total melee, like Cobra Kai. It was like that, no mercy. Started going nuts on motherfuckers. And what was fucked up about it is that in one of the situations, like one of the guys rushed me and my back was going up against the refrigerator, like the door was open. So it was like freezing on one side. Well, this guy he's wearing a fucking bandana. Like for real. Your life ain't stranger to you fighting somebody wearing a bandana and sunglasses. But anyway, bizarro fight. Unbelievable. It just went. Hits to the throat, knee, elbows, chokes, drops, sweeps, everything was just happened. Even the guy with the glasses caught a couple of hits. Finally got to the door. When the door opened up, because, you can't really look inside because they got all those, back in the 70s and 80s, they used to put all those papers on the windows because you couldn't see what was happening inside. Not like today, but you couldn't see. So anyway, we spilled out into the street. Now, here's the thing. This is my neighborhood. This is where the gorillas are at. This is like Lou Army. So I spill into the street, and now I got more room. Now I'm fucking slamming people into cars. I'm scissoring people down to. I'm like, it's war, and we're like 1 block away from the 24th precinct. That precinct where they arrested the Central Park 5. I was right there. The fucking war was on. And even the old guy with glasses tried to get in. It went crazy. But anyway, when the guerrilla squad, obviously across the street, saw what was going on, they can't see what's going on until they found out it was me. Then it turned really crazy. Everybody caught it, like for real. Even the old guy was getting rammed into a side of what was that? Entenmann's truck. They were just running him into it. Anyway, total brawl broke out. And I'm like, so... The cops come over, what the fuck you doing? I'm at fault. What the fuck? I just went to buy some ice cream. So anyway, in the process of everything, my father and Frank come up the street because they see there's a crowd. Not for nothing. It's like almost a brawl. And there's some cops. There was like 2 cops that showed up there, because they were just patrolling the area back in the days when they used to walk around. And my father's like, that's my son. What? And I told my father, I fucking went to this place. Buy the fucking ice cream, whatever, and all of a sudden it turned into this fucking melee. This guy's attacked me, whatever. And as for my father, he looked at the guy with the thick glasses and he's like, I remember that motherfucker. That was the guy. And I was like, holy shit, that was the guy? And it was just like, uh-oh. Now, this Carvel ice cream store was marked for death. This thing was going to be roasted. And my father was fucking cool about it. He just walked up to the guy and he just told him, ahí te jodiste. Now you're fucked. So after the melee happened, whatever, cops told me to go. They kept me like for 2 hours in the precinct, make sure I didn't go back and fucking, Benihana somebody. But that night, I don't know who did it. I'm just saying. Fudgy the Whale was fucking melting. There was flames everywhere. It was nothing to do with me, and I know it wasn't my father. But I can tell you, the reason that story I thought about that made me laugh is because I was in so much pain the other day. And I just started thinking to myself, like, what have I done to experience this? And I started thinking to myself, and I go back into my childhood and I'm like, yeah, I've done a lot of stupid shit. And all of a sudden I was just like, fucking crazy. Funny story. They caught that fucking guy with the thick glasses like 2 weeks later. I'm gonna tell you this. This is like real street shit. They freaking stripped that motherfucker naked and like beat him in the park, like for real. Like I saw this motherfucker running naked like a newborn. Just laughing because I was sitting down in a coffee place here, and I'm just like laughing because I'm thinking to myself like, my God. I can imagine when I go see Jesus, he's gonna be like, oh, no, wait a minute, that one right there? Move him up. You don't gotta wait, I gotta talk to you. So, craziness. But that was life. That's why you have to have a laugh on that. Even after all that craziness, I got hit with a chair, one of those old like wood chairs in my back from those motherfuckers. Like I was in massive pain. And afterwards, after all that craziness, like today's people will go to therapy. But for me, I had to go to the emergency room for a couple of things, whatever. But after I came out, I was just laughing. I was like, yo, I had the Fudgy the Whale right in front of me. I was just gonna buy it and leave. I was gonna have like the ice cream and then just hang out and be with my girlfriend. And I had the guys in the neighborhood cracking up. I'm like, when you see that like ice cream cake and it's like, ooh, give me a spoon. You laugh even though things are miserable. You laugh even though sometimes you're in pain. You laugh even though you're uncomfortable. So it's true, Jason, Crystal, you do have to laugh and smile sometimes because that's the only thing that can offset feeling bad. So sorry for the long story, but it was just on my mind the other day. So when you brought it up, it just Fudgy the Whale. That motherfucker was scrumptious. I remember I went to another car after all that episode because I still had the taste for it. I went to another Caravels. It was like run by an Indian family. So I walked in there. It was like, my God, what a difference this is. There's no freaking loud music playing. There's nobody with a bandana. I ate that Fudgy the Whale. Nobody's ever gonna abuse us again, Fudgy. Giant hugs. More emails to come.